discontent, and guess what? We were the beneficiaries of you coming over to Hillsborough County. What year was that now?
December of 2014, I left the chair position after serving 4 years in Pinellas County as the chair of the county party.
Okay.
Joined Hillsborough as the executive director.
I see. All right. And at that time, was Ione Townsend the president?
No, there was another lady, Elizabeth Belcher, that was the chair. She left at the end of 2015, and Ione Townsend ascended into the chair position in an election in January of 2016.
Now, I actually started attending Democratic Party meetings in Hillsborough County shortly after Ione was elected. That's Ione Townsend, who's our current president. So I actually don't know another president.
Right. She's been chair ever since January 2016. She's done a phenomenal job, and the party has grown exponentially in all facets.
Yep. That and a little help from a guy named Trump.
Yes.
Because when I first started coming to the Democratic Party meetings, they had to put a divider in the middle of the room. There wasn't enough people. Then Trump got elected, and guess what? We had to take the divider out of the middle of the room, and the whole thing was filled up to the back.
I believe that the membership in the Hillsborough County Democratic Executive Committee, otherwise known as the Hillsborough County Democratic Party, was about 75 people in January of 2016, and I know it hit a crescendo during the election cycle of about 400.
So we now have approximately 400 people who are signed up.
Yes, ma'am.
That is wonderful. And you know, I attend the meetings virtually now, and sometimes you have 200 to 300 people who are actually on the virtual meetings. So you got a lot of engagement going on there.
Yes, the pandemic has not slowed us down. If anything, it's motivated people to be more active.
That's wonderful. And you know, we got a governor that keeps us active too.
Yes, we do.
I mean, it's a daily thing with him.
Well, I think the thing that people are most concerned about is the safety of their children in the schools. What I hear the most about is the mask issue.
Okay. Because I actually don't get why you just wouldn't want your child to wear a mask. I know it's uncomfortable, but children can get seriously ill regardless of what is out there, and they can die.
Yeah, I don't have the latest or current statistics on children and illnesses related to COVID, but the general concern by the parents is the safety of the children versus personal choice.
Right. And then what would you say is the second most important issue?
I would say today is probably the economy, the Florida economy.
Okay.
Jobs.
Jobs. And wages.
And wages.
Yes. Now, I believe the $10 hour just went in effect.
Yes.
Okay, so we're slowly building up to the $15 an hour.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
It's a gradual, incremental process.
So the thing is, I've been hearing that the Republicans are outdoing us with registration.
Reluctantly, I must admit that has been the case. There's about a 23,000 different margin between Democratic registration in Florida and the Republican registration statewide.
Who's ahead?
We are.
Okay, but it's only by 23,000.
Correct.
So they're catching up with us.
Right. Now, I do know locally that the field committee is very busy out registering voters and increasing that number in Hillsborough. Right now, we hold somewhere around a 70,000 margin advantage over the Republican Party in Hillsborough County.
Okay, good. So we are still a blue county.
Yes, we are.
We have majority on the county commission.
Yes.
The majority Democrat on city council.
Yes.
And the majority are Democrats on the school board.
That is correct.
Yay! And guess what? We have a blue mayor.
Yes.
So I call that blue.
We're doing pretty well.
Oh, and also we voted for President Biden.
We did.
We did. So now the thing is, what if someone wants to start coming to Democratic Party meetings? What would you suggest?
I would suggest that you give us a call, and I'll have that number for you in a minute, and someone will get in contact with you to join us virtually until we go back to live meetings again to get the link.
Do you want to give them an idea what goes on at those meetings?
Yes, the Hillsborough County Democratic Executive Committee is the business organization of the party. It's where we have various committees that decide fundraising, outreach, community service, field, campaigning. Those are the main committees. Off the top of my head, bylaws.
Now, I tell you what my favorite thing is about the Democratic Party, and it is a big tent.
It is.
So we have clubs and caucuses that are so diverse. I belong to the Democratic Black Caucus, but there's a women's caucus, there's an LGBTQ caucus. I believe we're making a Jewish caucus.
We have a labor caucus, which is representing the workers of America. We have a disability caucus, which is very active. We have a Hispanic caucus, a Caribbean caucus, just to name a few.
So whatever your flavor, I think you'll be represented when you go to the party meetings. Usually the presidents are there, but anyone can come who is a registered Democrat. That's really the only criteria to show up, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And what about precinct captains? How does somebody do that?
Well, if you're a registered Democrat in Hillsborough County, you live in a precinct, you can find that on your voter ID card. And the way that the statute is set up, the Democratic Party is broken into precincts within a county. And depending on the population of the Democratic registration, that precinct, if it's under 1,000, you have one committee man and one committee woman. If it's over 1,000, you get two. If it's over 2,000, you get three, etc. It goes up by population registration.
How big could a precinct possibly get?
Oh, it could get very large.
Okay, in the thousands.
It could.
Okay.
Conceivably, if they don't split the district up, if it comes too large, I've seen in Pinellas where we had 4 committeemen and 4 committee women.
Wow. Okay. Did you have a number that you want to give out yet, or you want?
I'm gonna have to get that number for us.
Okay. So when we come back, we're going to talk about how you can actually contact someone from the Democratic Party, when the meetings are held, and I believe there's some fundraising coming up.
There is. We have our annual Kennedy King Gala December 11th. And if you're interested, you can go to the Hillsborough County Democratic Party website, which is hillsboroughcountydemocrats.org. And it gives all the information on the website.
That's pretty easy. hillsboroughcountydemocrats.org. All right, so we'll be back for our next segment.
Cool.
So believe we 100 down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen of sundown 184-361 Rick. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361 Rick. Call Ricky, ask Ricky. Legal and medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Thinking politics? Tampa Bay Politics is on every Wednesday at 11 a.m. with Angela Birdsong. Tune in right here on In Touch Radio.
so happy to have as my guest this morning, Mr. Mark Hennessy, and yay! That's our big audience out there. And he is been such an awesome party fundraiser for the Democrats. I mean, he just turned it around between night and day. And we're so happy because that money goes directly to candidates, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. We have two different funds. We have an operating account which pays the bills of the party, and then we have what's called a victory fund. Our fundraisers like Kennedy King Gala, our Spring Fling, and any other fundraisers that we might do during the year or direct ask would go into our victory fund. And the reason we don't commingle funds is because we want to have clarity between the bills of the party and given to candidates. The money in the victory fund goes directly to our candidates, Democratic candidates running for office.
And we got some offices coming up, don't we, in 2022?
We do. We currently have reapportionment going on, which happens after the census each decade, and the state senate, the state house, the commission, the school board, and the congressional races will be reapportioned based on population.
Now, I heard that we might gain a seat in the Orlando area.
I heard that same thing. That'll obviously be up to the committee that does the reapportionment, and we'll have to stay tuned on that.
Okay, so the committee would be out of Tallahassee.
Yes, it would.
That would be for the state seats.
Correct.
And unfortunately, that is all 100% run, almost 100% run by Republicans.
Yeah, my understanding is there's 12 Republicans and 4 Democrats on that reapportionment committee.
Okay, so they're going to get their way. They're going to draw. The Republicans will be drawing the lines. Now, for our Hillsborough County Commission, we do have majority Democrat representation.
Yes, we do.
So, just to let people know, there are 7 seats on the Board of County Commission. Just easy math. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are single-member districts, and 5, 6, and 7 are county-wide. Now, they are putting out maps right now that people can actually go and look at. And there's a little controversy going on. Now, if we talk about District 1, who's in District 1 right now?
I believe that's
Harry Cohen. Harry Cohen. Now, the thing, just so people know, up until 2018, all of those maps were drawn by Republicans because they were in charge back then.
correct.
Okay, so they are all gerrymandered so that the only place a Democrat or a black Democrat can win is in District 3. So that is drawn as the black seat. Now, 1 includes Town and Country and Apollo Beach. That sounds a little gerrymandered to me.
Well, the commission's proposing 4 maps, I believe, and they'll publish that for the public.
I believe at least 3 maps are going. Let's put it this way: they had some maps that went out already, and now they did some tweaking.
Right.
Okay, so now we're going to have some three new maps and that people can look at.
Right, and by the charter, they're supposed to publicize that for 4 weeks, and then they have a vote on the final map that they choose in December. And that's
Okay.
a vote of the commission.
Wonderful. Now, I want to tell you, I am the last Democratic candidate for District 2.
Yes, you are.
So I have a little opinion on District 2. And Gwen Myers, who's in 3, is requesting that the city of Temple Terrace be moved over to her district. But I don't agree with that because it only has 26% black, and it's kind of progressive. It votes pretty progressive, but if you take that out of 2, I don't think a Democrat could ever win in 2.
Well, my understanding is Temple Terrace Commission is getting a lot of phone calls. Temple Terrace wants to have their own representation. I believe under the current maps, it's split in half.
Well, it's kind of funny because sometimes I say to people, do you live in Temple Terrace? And they'll say yes. But I'll say, do you really live in Temple Heights? Oh, yeah, I really live in Temple Heights. They don't really live in the city of Temple Terrace.
Right. So the commission will adjudicate through their process after the 4 weeks is up and choose one map. And it'll be based on how the maps are structured and what they choose as the final selection to be the map for the next 10 years.
Now, just personally speaking, I'd like to see USF and I'd like to see Temple Terrace in District 2, and it would give an opportunity for even an African American candidate to possibly win.
That's true.
So that, as the Democratic Black Caucus, we're very concerned about spreading it out a little bit. You know, yes, we want that black seat, and we believe there's more than enough African Americans that we can draw from. But hey, let's broaden the map a little bit.
Well, Angela, what I would encourage everyone to do is to contact their county commissioner to tell them exactly what they're looking for in the maps and make the commissioners aware this is a representative democracy. That's why they're going out with the publication for 4 weeks.
Let your voice be heard. That's what I'm hearing.
Exactly.
Because,
That's why we have a
yes,
republic.
Get involved.
It's representative democracy.
That's right. Get involved. Let your voice be heard, because we don't want you to wait until everything's done and then you're up in arms and everybody's upset. No, come out now. Let the commissioners know exactly what you feel. Now, I have not been keeping track of what's going on with City Council. Have you?
Everyone's been focused on either the reapportionment with the state or with the pandemic issues or the minimum wage and job issues. We've heard less about city council recently. They haven't been at the front of the news section.
They haven't. But of course, they're important too.
They are.
And, I haven't kept track. Do you know how many seats are up in 22?
I believe there's 3 up.
There's 3 up. Okay. What about Mr. Carlson?
Mr. Carlson will be up.
Okay. What about Mr. Goods?
Yes.
Okay. He's very
And-
popular, Orlando
Right.
Goods.
I believe Mr. Citro's up also.
And Citro, Joseph Citro. Okay. He's he's around and about. He gets around. I believe that Orlando Goods is the president of the city council right now.
Yes, he's the chair of the council.
He's the chair. So I'm hoping that, everything will go well for his reelection.
Sure. He's been a good advocate for the people.
Yes. So, and he's a former police officer.
Yes, he is. He served
Yes.
Tampa PD.
He knows the lay of the land. So we're happy to have him. Let's see. So what about the school board?
I believe there's 3 people up. You have Miss Hahn, Karen Perez, and help me out for a second. I'm bad on the names. Melissa Snively, I believe. Is also.
Melissa Slively. Okay,
Snively.
Snively. So okay, so
Tongue
out of those
twister.
out of those 3, then Karen Perez is the only Democrat that's facing re-election. Then
That is correct.
she's been here on our show. She's currently running. Yes, she's out there campaigning. She would be the only Hispanic representative. So
Yes, that's correct.
She's our only Hispanic representative. So
Yes, she's the Hispanic representative on the school board.
yes, on the school board, right? Because we do have we do have some representation on the city council for Hispanic representation.
Right, Luis Vieira and actually 3.
Actually, 3.
Charlie Miranda and Guido Maniscalco.
That's right. That's right.
So they're very well represented on council.
Yes. Well, they have all of West Tampa, and that's a big slice of the city of Tampa.
Right.
Yes. But I feel good about Karen Perez. You feel good about her reelection?
Karen is working very hard. She's raising money. She's out in the community. She's listening to the needs of the community, and she is doing a very good job on the school board.
I think she's very, very dedicated. And
She is.
And she's very responsive. If you call her or contact her, she's on it.
She is.
Yes.
She's very responsive.
Yes. So I'm feeling really good that she'll be reelected. Now, if someone just wants to do some grassroots work, what do you think they need to do for the Democratic Party?
Well, they can contact us at our phone number, and I'll give that to you.
All right, let's do that.
That's 813-512-6914.
Say that one more time.
813-512-6914. And you can work on a committee. You can work in the DEC as a committeeman, committeewoman, or an at-large member. Or you may want to get in contact with one of the clubs or caucuses that you mentioned.
Or work on a campaign.
Or work on a campaign. If you so desire, we can refer you.
We got so many things that we need help with. You know what? Do you want to address this issue that the Democratic Party never shows up until it's time for an election? How do you feel about that?
That's not true. Our field and outreach committees are out there every weekend, meeting with the constituents, listening to their needs, registering new voters, and taking those issues back to the Hillsborough County Democratic Executive Committee.
What do you think are some of the issues that affect the everyday Democratic voter or any voter in general?
Well, from a state perspective, voting and voting rights and the access to voting. There have been some proposed changes throughout not only Florida but other states that would limit access to voting, and that's why we had a Voting Rights Act that was passed in the 60s.
And we are being hit with voter suppression right from the state level. We are one of the states being affected with that.
Correct.
They want, you know what, I am also with the League of Women Voters, and this is serious.
Yes.
You know, not only are they doing things like picking up drop boxes, making you re-verify your vote by mail, there's a new regulation in there that if the person leaves their seat, the governor gets to choose the person.
Correct.
So that when the next election comes up, they will be the incumbent.
Correct.
I didn't even know that. I mean, there's so much stuff embedded in there.
Well, that is a timing issue too. I don't have the exact law on that, but if you leave a position, the governor appoints you if it's within a certain time period of the next election.
Okay.
Then a special election is declared.
So I don't think they don't really want to have a special election. Is that what they're trying to get away from?
Well, if an incumbent wants to bequeath the seat or give it to his next in command or next person of choice, they could leave the seat early and have the governor appoint that person, and then that person, as you say, would be an incumbent.
I see. Okay. So the person leaving the seat could have some say in that.
That is correct.
Okay, so we're going to wrap this section up, and when we come back, we got more reasons why you ought to get involved right now.
Thank you, Angela.
Okay.
Cancer affects everyone, but minority populations are often hit hardest. Moffitt Cancer Center is working to address the barriers that keep some groups from getting the care they need. African Americans develop cancer at a younger age, have more aggressive cancers, and experience worse outcomes than the general population.
While cancer treatment is evolving with precision medicine, who is being left behind? We know for many decades that some groups experience a greater burden of cancer than others. We can prevent it, we can detect it early. It's very beatable when we find it early. I have worked with cancer patients during their treatment. All cancer patients have courage.
So my treatment was about 18 months. I had 3 cancers and 7 surgeries. But my son told me, like, Mom, you're the strongest person that I know. Moffitt saved my life.
During COVID-19, Moffitt is a safe place for your cancer care. Call now to schedule an appointment.
Hi, this is Angela Birdsong with Tampa Bay Politics. And not only can you catch us on InTouchNews.com every Wednesday at 11 a.m., we now have a website at TampaBayPoliticsPodcast.com. We are on Apple, Google, Spotify, and Stitcher, which you can log in at any time and listen to
Tampa Bay Politics.
We're back. You are listening to Tampa Bay Politics. I'm your host, Angela Birdsong. During the week, I help people with Medicare, believe it or not, annuities, life insurance. We have an open enrollment coming up next month. But I'm also a former candidate for District 2 for the County Commission, and this is my passion, talking to movers and shakers that you might not run into, but they're important, like Mr. Mark Hennessy.
Thank you, Angela.
He is our party fundraiser for the Democratic Party. Now, you know what? A lot of people think, hey, all I have to do is get to the polls and vote. But there's some other things people can do, especially right in their own neighborhood, like being a precinct captain. Can you explain how a person becomes a precinct captain and what they do?
Okay. Every 4 years after the presidential election, all political parties reform, and they, on the ballot, they elect committeemen and committeewomen from their precinct.
Okay.
And it's based on population of the registered Democrats in that precinct, like we covered before.
Yes.
Those people go on the primary ballot after they qualify, just like a candidate qualifies in June of an election year.
Let's go over that qualifying a little bit, because they actually have to be elected.
That's right. They're an elected position.
So people actually go out and campaign.
Yes, they do.
So if you live in a precinct and you feel that that's something you want to do, and there might be one or two other people who all want to do the same thing, so you actually have to get people to come out and vote for you.
That is correct, and the election is in the primary election of
During the primary election
each of the
cycle.
presidential election cycles.
All right, so let's say a person is elected, or they may have no competition.
They're automatically elected
They're
at
automatically
qualification.
in. This does happen.
It does.
And I believe we could use some precinct captains in African American districts.
Yes. And again, that number that I gave earlier, I'll give it again.
Okay.
If you're interested in being a committeeman or a committeewoman and serving in that capacity, those that aren't elected at the election in a presidential year, we fill vacancies. Those people apply with the Hillsborough County Democratic Executive Committee. They're vetted by the Credentials Committee, and then they're approved by the Steering Committee, which is the Board of Directors, and then by the full membership of the Hillsborough County Democratic Executive Committee. If you're interested, and we do need more in the African American community, again, that phone number is 813-512-6914. Please give us a call. We'd love to have you join the party and get involved.
So this is actually a very important position, because you actually go into the precinct, talk to your friends, your neighbors.
Yes.
And it's better for someone they know.
Yes. And that's why it was devised that way. It was supposed to be neighborhood friendly.
Wonderful. Yeah, because you actually get to knock on doors, and when they see that it's a Democratic person, you say, hey, Democratic Party, you only knock on friendly doors. That's correct, right?
Well, let's hope. Let's hope.
No, but I mean, you don't knock on
Yes.
Republican doors.
No.
Or maybe you might knock on independent doors who are leaning Democrat.
Right.
But you don't have to worry about knocking on somebody's door who doesn't like you.
Right.
Unless it's an accident, we always have, one or two.
Right.
How important would you say that position is right now?
Oh, it's the backbone of the party. You see, it was built as a bottom-up organization. Those committeemen, committeewomen decide the policies of the Hillsborough County Democratic Executive Committee.
Okay.
We elect a state committeeman and a state committeewoman that represents us at the Florida Democratic Party, and then they elect national committeemen that represent Florida at the national party. That's why I said it's bottom up. To be a state or national committeeman, you first have to be a committeeman or committeewoman in your precinct, in your county.
Okay, so it all starts from the bottom.
It's a bottom up.
It's a bottom up. So what's amazing is that you can start out as a precinct captain
Yes.
in your community. Next thing you know, You could run to sit on the DEC board here, the
Yes.
Hillsborough County Board.
The chair, the vice chairs, the secretary, treasurer, state committeemen, state committeewomen are elected by the committeemen and committeewomen of the party.
Okay, so you could end up going to the state convention.
You could.
You could end up going to the national convention.
You could. You have to run for a delegate position every 4 years, but you don't necessarily have to be a committeeman or committeewoman. You just have to be a registered Democrat and get elected. Again, you campaign for that spot. And if you win your area, your designated area, you become a delegate to the national convention.
So now you know how you see those people on TV.
That's right.
How they get there, because I think every party, every county in the country works similarly.
Yes.
To this. Yes.
And the state party chair gets so many at-large appointments, elected officials or members and delegates.
Okay, so electeds get to go.
Right.
Okay.
So it's a blend of all three.
I see. So this is very interesting because, we all watch those conventions. We say, hey, how did those people get there? But every once in a while, I'll see a face I know.
Exactly.
They did the work.
They did.
From the grassroots up. So it could be you. That's what we're trying to say.
They are the backbone of the party.
That's right. And, of course, we electeds are always in the news, but we need those people who care about their community.
That's right.
And getting out the vote.
Exactly. And that's the critical key, is that our field committee and our outreach committee are registering Democrats, and they're recruiting people to fill committeemen and committeewomen positions. So this isn't a once-a-year event.
Okay.
This is a 12-month annual year event. Every weekend they're out there recruiting for the party. And with those new people that join the party, we build the party, make it stronger and bigger.
Because we're a big tent. Now, if someone has an organization, a party, or some kind of big event going on, will you come out there and register voters?
Yes.
So all they have to do is call you.
Contact that number.
Say that number one more time.
I'll say that number one more time. 813-512-6914, and we will get you to the appropriate person, the outreach person that does events. Outreach chair.
Our outreach chair. Okay. So you know what? We actually have a nice lady named Sylvia Adams,
We do.
and she's been working diligently to get Democratic volunteers out there in the community.
Yes. And she's been doing a phenomenal job.
So if you have any kind of organization that you want volunteers for, we want to show up and we want to help.
Absolutely. And it could be as simple as, if you don't want to be a committeeman or a committeewoman, volunteer for a committee like this and get involved.
Just get involved. I don't think we had someone before Sylvia who was really doing that. So a person can come and get involved and do their thing. They might see a need.
Exactly.
They might be an IT person or whatever your skill, whatever.
They could be on the IT committee.
Yes.
I don't understand that stuff, but I defer to those people.
So I heard that that big fundraiser, the Kennedy King dinner, has been moved to December.
Yes, due to COVID, we had to move it from September to December 11th. Tickets are available. I've given the number out. Again, the website is hillsborough-county-democrats.org. All the information about the Kennedy King is right on that website. You can use your credit card and go right online and pay online. It gives our mailing address, which I don't have with me,
Okay.
but it's on the website.
But that's going to be a fun night, isn't it?
Oh, it's going to be great.
Do we know who the speakers are, or that's a mystery?
It's still early.
It's still early, but usually some prominent Democrats are there.
Yes, we typically have a very good program. We have Democrats from all walks of life that participate. We get tremendous support from our Hillsborough Society, from our labor unions, from our businesses, from our clubs, caucuses, and other entities that are Democrat friendly.
Yes, so we've had some really great speakers in the past. Mr. Khan,
Yes.
yes, whose son unfortunately was killed, but he's a great speaker. He's a nationwide speaker now.
He was phenomenal.
He was phenomenal. And of course, you know, people who are running for office, I'm sure, are either Charlie Crist, Nikki Fried. We're going to have maybe Val Demings might show up
Perhaps we're working on that.
because she is one hot candidate
She's very prolific.
running against Rubio.
Yes, she is.
So we're expecting great things from her.
Yes, and we'll stay tuned to let you know about if she does come to the Kennedy King.
Wonderful. Now, tell us a little bit about this Hillsborough Society.
Well, we created a fundraising group that the annual membership, if you're 40 and above, is $1,000 annually, and if you're a junior executive, 39 and under, it's $500 a year. People can pay their dues annually, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly. It's made up of Democrats. The Hillsborough Society meets each quarter, 4 times a year. We have excellent guest speakers. We talk about current topics. The next Hillsborough Society meeting is going to be November 10th at Casa Santa Stefano at 5:30.
Right across the street from the Columbia.
Right across from the Columbia. Our 2 speakers are Senator Janet Cruz and Representative Fentress Driscoll will be talking about legislative affairs. So it's quite a topic. We also invite our elected officials so they can interact with our members, talk about legislation, talk about commission council issues, and be right there face to face to talk to your elected person.
Now, what's the wonderful thing about the Hillsborough Society is everybody doesn't have time and they can't volunteer a lot of hours. But if they want to definitely give some money and then quarterly show up, they can
Yes.
still stay involved. They can find out what's going on, and they can, most of all, interact with their elected officials.
And all the monies collected from that go to our operating account to pay the bills of the party,
Oh,
like
okay.
headquarters and normal daily expenses of the party.
So you just didn't know all the things you could do.
Yes, absolutely. And the other important function is it's part of the outreach during the election cycle.
Wonderful. Okay, so we ready for another set to go to break again? All right, it's that time to go to break again.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them 2 brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen of sundown 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Wow, it's hard to believe the show is all ripping right by here. And I am Angela Birdsong, your host for Tampa Bay Politics. In the house with me is Mark Hannessy. He is the #1 Democratic Party fundraiser for Hillsborough County.
Thank you, Angela. It's quite nice of you.
Now, yesterday was National Registration Day. But we want people to register when?
All year long.
Every day. Now, how does a person register?
The supervisor of election office is downtown in the county center. You can call there and they will give you all the details on how to come down and register to vote. There, I believe you also can do it at your motor vehicles office.
I think you can.
You can register there as well.
And then the website is a very friendly website.
Yes, it is.
So if you just type in Supervisor of Elections, Hillsborough County, or what county you happen to be in, because we do cross county lines with the internet here.
We do.
We do. But if you're a Democrat or a leaning Democrat, we really would love for you to get registered like right now.
Exactly.
Hey, I know a good reason why you would want to register, because a lot of people don't know that this is a closed primary state.
Yes.
Can you explain that to them?
Yes, in a closed primary state, you can only vote in your Democratic primary. You can't cross over and vote for a Republican, for example. Each party has their own primaries, and to vote in a primary, you have to be a registered Democrat to vote for the Democratic candidates. But in a general election, you're open to vote for whichever
Everybody can
candidate you
vote.
want.
But every single election cycle, we get people who show up for the primary who are independents.
We do.
We-
And they can't vote in the primary because they're not registered by a party.
You cannot vote in the primary if you are a registered NPA, independent. No, you have to be a Democrat or a Republican, or you can wait for the general. And believe me, even Trump's children learned that the hard way. They could not vote for their father in the primary in New York, because New York is another closed primary state.
Exactly.
So what I love is that we have a great supervisor elections website in Hillsborough County, don't we?
We do.
I mean, it's won awards. It's so easy.
They've done a very good job down there, and they've kept the voter involved and communicated well on how to register and all the other issues that you might want to do. Some people do change parties, and they may want to call up the supervisor of elections to make a party change.
Okay, and also make sure your signature is right on file.
Exactly.
If you move, please re-register.
Exactly.
If you move, it's very easy to look up where your precinct is on there.
That's correct.
I've had to do it.
Exactly.
You type in your address and it says, and even a picture pops up where your precinct is.
That's amazing, isn't it?
It's an awesome website. Now, you know what? When it comes to returning citizens, we do want to encourage people to contact the Florida Restoration of Rights Organization
Yes.
so they can get their fees paid.
Yes.
Do you know anything about Desmond Meade and what he's up to?
I just know that that's his passion. He is the one that is re-registering ex-felons, and he's the general expert in that area, and he was very instrumental in getting that passed in Florida, that non-violent offenders could re-register to vote and get their rights back.
Wonderful. So if you are a returning citizen, not sure if you owe fees, not sure how much you owe, if you do owe, please contact the Desmond Meade's organization. I believe if you type in Florida Restoration of Rights, it should come up. And he's a very happy guy today because he won a MacArthur Foundation grant of $625.
Phenomenal.
It couldn't happen to a better man.
He's worked very hard.
And they refused to give him back his voting rights in the state of Florida. That's another reason to vote against DeSantis, wouldn't you say?
Well, it certainly would motivate your listeners, wouldn't it?
I know. I mean, and we can add that on to the fact that he thinks it's okay to run protesters over with your car.
How sad.
How sad. And he also thinks it's okay for voter suppression.
Oh, we have to work on that.
And now we have the heartbeat bill that was just
That's going to
introduced.
motivate the women's vote.
So October the 2nd, there's going to be some women in the streets.
I do believe so.
So I actually don't know of where people are going to be, but I know there's going to be a couple in Hillsborough County. So if you feel so moved, ladies, get out there and let your voice be heard.
Exactly.
Because you know what? I believe that Roe versus Wade is the law of the land.
All the national polls are showing that the majority of voters do not want to overturn Roe versus Wade.
And you know, a lot of people feel like, you know what, maybe I may not want to terminate a pregnancy, but you know what, I don't want to judge another woman.
That's for the woman, her priest, her minister, her rabbi, and her God to decide.
That's what we believe. So the thing is, whether you're religious or not, I'm hoping that you will think that it's okay for a woman to have a choice, because people find themselves in bad situations.
This is true.
Hey, anything else come to mind before we go?
Yeah, you may not want to get involved, but you may want to contribute to the party. Again, the website is hillsborough-county-democrats.org. We do take contributions online. It also gives the P.O. Box address for the party that you can mail in checks to our P.O. Box. We welcome all contributions. We're having another spectacular year in fundraising. We're within $400 of meeting our goal already for the year in September.
And I just want to put a little plug in for the Democratic Black Caucus,
Yep.
where our vision is to get as many African American Democrats elected as possible. We meet consistently on the second Thursday of the month, 6 o'clock, virtually. Let's see if I can remember the website. HC Hillsborough County BC.org. And anyway, you can call me, 813-476-4837. That's Angela's number, 813-476-4837. We want all registered Democrats to get involved. When do we want them to get involved?
Now.
Right
today,
now.
Today.
Because we have 22 coming up.
Very rapidly. Friday is October 1st already.
That's right. We're like,
9 months are over.
wow, it's fast.
It goes
And
very
we need to be
fast.
prepared for this, because it's, you know, we have some, you will be surprised on the low margin some of these seats are won by.
Some are won by a handful of votes.
100 votes, 200 votes. I mean, like a family reunion. So please don't say your vote doesn't matter.
Oh, it does matter. We've seen state legislative candidates win by 1 or 2 votes.
Really? Yeah,
Yes.
I've seen it come down to the coin cost now.
Exactly.
I mean, it can be very close.
And the midterm elections will be here before you know it, November of next year.
Now, I heard Nancy Pelosi say that 50% of the nation doesn't even know we're having elections when it comes to midterms.
Well, we need to continue to put that message out to the voters out in the marketplace so that they're fully aware of what their rights are, when the dates are. And again, you can contact the supervisor of elections for all those dates.
That's right. You know, our supervisor is so awesome. He's trying so hard down there. It's his responsibility to make sure that you are registered,
Exactly.
that you know when to vote and how to vote.
Exactly.
All right. And so they're so friendly when you call up.
He has a very capable staff.
So, and there should be a supervisor of elections near you as well.
Yes,
Yeah, besides just the one downtown. They're kind of spread out around the county.
exactly.
Now, do you have anything else exciting coming up you want to talk about?
Well, I would say that it's very important for everybody to go out and vote. That's the most fundamental right you have as a citizen of this county, this state, and this country. And we need to eliminate voter apathy. Your vote does count. If anyone is interested in joining the party, a committee, getting involved with a club or a caucus, please call that number 813-512-6914 and we can direct you in the correct direction. But if you don't get involved in the party or you don't want to contribute, please vote. Your vote counts. Every vote counts.
You're right. And you know what? If you're a returning citizen, we'll help you.
Absolutely.
If you just moved here from Puerto Rico, all you have to do is register. We'll help you.
That's right.
If you don't know where your precinct is, or you just want to finally get involved, because a lot of people don't know the Democratic Party meets every month.
I'm glad you brought that up because we're still meeting virtually, but it's the third Monday of every month, and it's at 6:30. Again, if you call that number, you can get the information. I'll say it one more time so everybody can write it down. 813-512-6914, and we'll be able to provide you with the adequate information. But please get involved and please vote.
You know, a lot of times how people end up at the Democratic Party meeting is they get an invitation.
Exactly. Well, I'm giving you an invitation now.
There you go. You have been personally invited by Mr. Mark Hennessy, so please show up.
Please.
And you know what? From showing up to the party meetings, I learned about a group called the Democratic Black Caucus.
And there are other caucuses as well,
And
like you
there's-
mentioned.
Yes. So there could be a club, a caucus that you feel passionate about.
That is correct.
Or you could start a caucus.
You could.
You could. If you feel that there's just not one representing your needs, we're a big tent.
Exactly.
We want everybody. And you know, I want to do a big shout out to African American women, because they are the heart and the soul of the party, along with the African American men that they drag along. And so they saved the country.
They did.
So we're asking you to save us again.
Absolutely. Again, your vote counts. Please vote. Please get involved. If you're interested in the party or a club or a caucus or a committee or just to donate, 813-512-6914. The website is Hillsborough-County-Democrats.org. It gives all the prices for the Kennedy King for tickets, or if you want to be a sponsor, you can do that. It's right on the website.
You know what if someone wants to buy a few tickets for somebody that can't afford it?
You can do that.
That's a wonderful thing. You could buy a table, you could donate it. I mean, there's so many things you can do, because we want, especially with young people, we want to keep them involved
We do.
and get them involved. Hey, you know what? This has been such a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, Angela.
And this information is really important to get out to the community.
It really is.
And we want to give them a big, warm hug from the Democratic Party.
We do. Your vote counts.
And we love you. Okay, thanks so much for coming, Mark.
Thank you for having me, Angela. Well, how'd I do?